inviting me today. And for everyone, I did earlier put a link in the chat box to an article that my adaptation leader team pulled together specific to adaptation. So that in part is why Kwamral is turning to me, because he knows I have something to say about this. Among other things, for those who don't know me, I am the past chair in the American Bar Association of the Sustainable Development and Climate Change Committee. I also led the ISO adaptation standards process at the international level for 3 years. And I recently
you are a guru.
stepped aside as in the United States, the American Society of Adaptation Professionals is the professional society, and I served as their policy chair. So among other things in my past, without going into my bio, I did serve as special counsel at US EPA headquarters a lifetime ago. With respect to adaptation, just to share a few quick insights for those of you not familiar with the US domestic situation. As was just pointed out, there's a lot of good work that's been going on adaptation at the state level. The business community is getting up to speed on adaptation and resilience. But by and large in the United States, when anyone, and I mean layperson or professional, talks about climate action, they are still almost always referring just to mitigation. Adaptation has really not been part of the picture in any significant way. The Obama administration actually felt pressure from many quarters to not call adaptation, which is why preparedness and resilience became the buzzword, the substitute. And unfortunately, what came away from the meeting last Thursday is it looks like the Biden administration is going to fall into that same trap, I'll call it, of not acknowledging climate adaptation as the co-equal half of the Paris Agreement. At the federal level, not only did John Kerry's first comments at the international level at the Global Commission meeting in January in the Netherlands lack of familiarity with adaptation. Last Thursday, perhaps because the designated co-chairs of the Adaptation and Resilience session were the Agriculture Secretary and the Homeland Security Secretary, adaptation was peculiarly framed around land use and security rather than what most of us on this call would recognize as the full scope of adaptation. So we're behind the curve in the US. It's a very fragmented community of practice that actually relates more to work that's done under our FEMA emergency response and hazard mitigation terminology than an international level understanding of climate adaptation. There are many of us working hard to overcome that. Since the summit itself, I've had some inquiries from senior US officials who would like to learn more about adaptation. And so I'll leave it on that positive note that we have a lot of ground to make up, but at least there's a willingness to learn. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ira, to flag that point quite eloquently. I will come back to you again. Martin.